Hello and welcome to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier recap show. I'm your host Grant Liston, a very bored Englishman. And if you haven't seen this week's episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, please go ahead and watch it before watching this video, because there's going to be spoilers. Thank you very much. So, my thoughts on last week's episode were not very good. I really didn't rate it at all. This week, however, really upped its game. Really good episode this week. In fact, it's that good, I think this should have been the very first episode. Extend the runtime to an hour and 20 minutes maybe, and cherry pick a few important moments from the first episode. Example, introduction of the terrorist organisation, Bucky's therapy session, and definitely the introduction of the new Captain America. Have that as the opening scene. Have Sam relinquish the shield and the government straight away put it on this guy and makes Bucky Barnes and Falcon go, what's going on here? You know, that could have been a fantastic start to the series, but they couldn't resist that ridiculous teaser, that cliffhanger ending, which didn't do anything for me. In fact, the very first start of this episode focuses a little bit on the new Captain America, and I quite like him. I think he's very well acted. I don't remember the actor's name, really sorry about that one, I'll try and figure that later. But yeah, I thought he was very well acted. He looks very much like the English football striker Harry Kane. I'll put it there. That's the similarities there are quite terrifying. But also the backstory. You know, he's not. I originally thought it was going to be like the Mandarin. It was just going to be the mascot, and how he's going to be, you know, the face of American military. But no, he's a decorated war hero. In fact, he's genuinely looks like what Captain America does in the comics. So I kind of look at him and go, this could be a really interesting Captain America. Not that Steve Rogers wasn't. Steve Rogers is still perfect. But this guy could, you know, be just as good. Obviously, I have more theories on that, but we'll get there later. All I want to say is, though, that this opening was far superior than the 50 minutes of Will the Falcon sister get a loan? That being said, this episode still has one really ugly fight scene. Oh, it's Catwoman-like. It's cut, edit. Oh, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's so ugly. I like a good action scene. You know, as long as it's coherent and it's pleasing to look at, and it's choreographed well. I think it's choreographed well, but it's like 3 cuts for 1 kick. It's very jarring. And it just isn't for me. I really hope the rest of the series isn't marred by its disgusting editing of these fight scenes. So this episode does finally give us the Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes reunion that we've kind of all signed up for this series. And the 2 actors, they are fantastic. They really do bounce off each other very well. I've been a huge fan of Anthony Mackie for a while, and Sebastian Stan is just a good actor in every role I've ever seen him in. He has been brilliant. He was also in Once Upon a Time as the Mad Hatter. Now, I don't particularly rate Once Upon a Time. I thought its first season was fairly good. I just didn't catch on with season 2. But his Mad Hatter, brilliant stuff. Absolutely fantastic actor. And these two put in their therapy session, admittedly was a little bit cringy at times because it's got that typical Marvel humour. But overall, these guys are the embodiment of the characters, and it's just a joy to watch. So it seems that the main story going forward with this show is that they're going to be fighting super soldiers, but are also freedom fighters. Their goal is to abolish state borders and such, so there is no border disputes. It is just one land for one people. And I've always said this about a villain of a film or television series. If their motivations are clear and very relatable, you've got yourself a compelling villain. You look at Thanos, he wants to wipe out half of all living things to save resources. On paper alone, it's a very sound theory. Obviously, genocide is never good. Do not do genocide, ever, please. So, these freedom fighters want to make the world one for all the people, so there's no more silly government disputes over money and trade routes and, oh god, it's Star Wars all over again. My point being is that if you want a compelling villain, make their motivations clear and relatable. And this show It's going that way, and I've got to say, I very much approve of the way the villains have been painted so far. Now, it wouldn't be one of my recap shows if I didn't bring up a conspiracy theory. Going off of what I've seen so far from 2 episodes, I've come to one theory which could potentially happen, so if this is a spoiler because it happens, I can only apologise. It turns out I'm clairvoyant. So my conspiracy theory is simple, but it's possible. Let's imagine that the United States government have given these freedom fighters some super soldier serum. Say that 3 times fast, because I can barely say it once. Now, imagine they've given this serum to the freedom fighters and it wears off after like several hours. They're basically creating a non-existent threat out of nothing. And what they do, they throw in their Captain America guy to save the day and win approval, and everyone's happy-go-lucky and cheering, and it makes the American government look competent. Only for this to hilariously backfire in their face when Baron Zemo takes control of this organisation and leads the rebellion, leading to Cap and Bucky to try and save the day. Whether this current Captain America is in on the plot, I don't think so. I reckon he's a pawn to be used and maybe there's a sacrificial thing at the end. That's my theory so far. But what do you guys think about this show so far? And if you've got any conspiracy theories, let me know. I'll get my tinfoil out and we'll have a great old laugh about it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please feel free to like the video, share the video, and as always, leave those dirty comments down below. I'll see you next week for episode 3. Take care now.